Lie down on your back. If you like the supported back bend, go for that. If you do not like the supported back bend, then just be on your back, knees straight or bent. If you've got a candle, you might give that a little burn. If you've got some essential oils, you might give that a little burn. And you know what? That actually perfectly relates to what I was just going to talk about, is that find ways to have this experience be sustainable over the long term. And what I mean by that is, I'll use the illustration of running for various lengths of time. You need different things for a 100-meter dash, a 10K run, and a marathon. You need to prepare differently for a 100-meter dash, a 10K run, and a marathon. Your mindset needs to be different for a 100-meter dash, a 10K run, and a marathon. Because a 100-meter dash takes 15 seconds. A 10K run takes about an hour if you're me, 50 minutes if you're fitter than I am. And a marathon takes several hours. And so that's not to say that just because we have been sprinting or we have been thinking of this in short term, it doesn't mean we're not prepared for long term. In fact, some of the same skills of the short term can be applied to this long game. The skills of maintaining self-care, maintaining a schedule, the skills of leaning into your relationships, the skills of setting goals and making plans, the skills of practicing connection and communication with your coworkers and with your family. Those are things that you have likely already learned how to do in this disconnected environment. And those same skills are going to continue to serve you on the long game, no matter how long this lasts. But what is also true, and something that I learned years ago when I trained for my first marathon, I have run 2 marathons in my life, and they were both 9 years ago at this point. I learned that there are some different skills that you need when you're training for a long run as opposed to a shorter run. Because with a shorter run, you don't really need to snack beforehand. You don't really need to hydrate beforehand. Generally speaking, you can go for a run that is an hour or less, pretty much on the stores of eating normally, right? Of your last meal and your last hydration. But when you start to think about a marathon, when you start to think about a long game, it takes planning, and it takes a little bit of calculation, thinking about, when do I need to refuel? Okay, I should probably take in about 200 calories per hour, and you have to start doing the math, and you have to start being intentional. And I think that's really the point that I wanted to get around to in talking about this and in relating this to short, middle, and long-term runs, is that if you haven't been yet, now is a great time to really start to be intentional and ask yourself the hard questions and start to do the math about what will continue to make your life sustainable. What kinds of self-care activities, what kinds of conversations do you need to have? What kinds of new practices do you need to add to your life or remove from your life to make this long game as healthy and sustainable as the short game has been for you? All right, and so how does that apply to your moving practice? I truly think that it doesn't necessarily mean that you throw out those important lessons of maintaining presence in the moment. That is still important. So, but there is also the skill of looking forward into the future, and because we have to do things that work for us right now, but we also have to do things that work for us in the future. And we also have to do things that work for the people around us in the future. And so I would encourage you to continue, if you haven't already, you probably have already been, but if you haven't already started the discipline of asking yourself, how is this going to work out for me 3 months from now? How is this going to work out for the people I love and who love me back 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? That would be a good practice to start implementing. So with that, let's share a few breaths. Start by exhaling all the stale air out of the lungs through the nose or mouth. And then inhale through the nose, breathe into the belly. Open mouth, exhale, let it all go. Oh yeah, let's take a few more. Inhale through the nose, breathe into the belly. Open mouth, exhale, let it all go. Now take it through a few more full rounds of breath on your own time, on your own pace. Watch your breath. Get really curious about that breath. Observe the sensations in your body as you breathe, as you move. And now for a couple more breaths, can you lengthen the inhale and the exhale to the longest of the long? See just how long, just how stretched out, just how excessive you can be with both the inhale and the exhale. Just see how, maybe you'll surprise yourself. Take it through a few rounds of breath here. And now let's start to move with that breath. So if you would reach the arms overhead toward the back of the room, point the toes toward the front, take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes. And on the exhale, hug both knees to the chest, rounding the spine. Inhale to extend, reach. Exhale, rolling into that little ball. Inhale, extend and reach. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale to extend, reach, and this time pay special attention to reach with the right hand, left foot. Can you reach even further with the right hand, left foot? And now switch, reach with the left arm, right foot. So it's like somebody's pulling you by your foot, by your fingers. All right, switch back to the right hand, left foot. See if you can find even a millimeter more length from fingertip to toe. And on the next release, go into the other side, left hand, right foot. And one more time each side, reach from fingertip to toe. And reach from fingertip to toe, other side. Nice. All right, one more time, reach the arms overhead, point the toes. exhale, hug the knees to the chest. And then maybe start to roll up and down the length of the spine, up to the neck, down to the tailbone. And after you've gotten a couple of those, maybe cross the ankles, roll over the shins and take it forward into your tabletop, and let's just get right into a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale as you lengthen the sternum forward, gaze goes up. Exhale as you round the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, draw the ribcage forward. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, come back to a neutral spine. We're going to do something kind of fun and different with our table or with our cat-cow today. So we're going to stay in cat-cow, but this time we're going to make it kind of like a rolling cat-cow. So there's going to be some forward-backward motion, and what it'll look like is this. As I exhale and round the spine, I'm going to draw my body weight forward over my hands, and then as I exhale and drop the belly toward the earth, I'm going to draw my body weight back into my knees. So let's do this together. Inhale as we draw the body weight forward over the hands, chin to chest. Exhale into that low back, releasing the rib cage toward the earth. And take it away at your own time, on your own pace. If you want to find even more range of motion, it's like a wave, right? Not only are you rounding and arching the spine, but you're creating kind of an oval with that shape. And so that forward backward motion there, just see how much space you can create. Stay with the breath. All right, come back to a neutral spine here. Lengthen the crown of the head forward, tailbone toward the back, and then pick up the right arm, reach the right fingertips up toward the sky, gaze goes up, and exhale right back down. Other side, inhale, reach the left fingertips up toward the sky, find a little twist in the upper back, exhale right back down. Ooh, my back just popped, that was nice. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up, exhale back to tabletop. Other side, inhale, reach. Exhale back to tabletop. Let's do one more time each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to the left. And exhale. Curl the toes under. Shift the body weight back onto the balls of the feet. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Straighten up the elbows. And on the exhale, straighten the legs. Lift the hips. Take it back to downward facing dog. So pedal the feet. Right, left, right, left. Press one heel, then the other into the earth. Come back to that long, slow breath. Can you inhale completely, exhale completely? Okay, so we're going to take a little challenge here. I want you to try and take that same cat-cow shape in downward facing dog. So it might feel awkward and it might even be pretty challenging, but that's the idea, is to build a little bit of heat here. So what it looks like would be like this, is drop the hips in line with the shoulders coming into a plank, but even lift that space between the shoulder blades and tuck the chin, so you're creating a round in the upper back. So that's like the rounded shape on the exhale. And then on the inhale, tilt the tailbone toward the sky and release the belly toward the earth, and take it into a little bit of a back bend in downward facing dog, like a really exaggerated downward facing dog. And now let's do it again, bringing that rounded shape from the tailbone first. So tuck the tailbone under, belly under, round the spine, tuck the chin to the chest, coming forward into a really fired up plank in the upper back. Now inhale, reverse it into a downward facing dog that also has a little bit of a back bend to it. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Let's do one more. Inhale, bring it forward into plank, scoop the belly, tuck the chin to the chest. Lots of activity in the shoulders. Exhale into downward facing dog. tailbone toward the sky. All right, now lower the knees to the earth, bring the big toes to touch and settle it back to child's pose. Lots of range of motion in the back here, especially right here in the beginning of practice. And really fire it up. Okay, so just a reminder, child's pose is always available to you. You can always come back here for any reason or no reason. All right, press the palms into the earth, curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. All right, let's take it up to the top of the mat for some half sun salutations. So walk your feet forward. And on the inhale, bring the hands to the shins, halfway lift. Lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms, reach for the sky. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. I'm going to take it through 5 half sun salutations, nice and easy. So we're going to do a lot, so we're really getting into the breath. And if you want to move faster than me, if you want to move slower than me, it's all good. I'll talk us through it. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms, reach. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. That's 1. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Follow your breath. Move so slowly, so intentionally. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. That's 2. Inhale, arms overhead, reach. Exhale, fold over the legs. And if it's easier on your hamstrings to have a soft bend in the knees as you fold, that's great too. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, and same little cue about the hamstrings. If you want to have a soft bend in the knees, sometimes that can take some of the weight off the low back. Exhale, hands to heart center. That's 3. Inhale, arms overhead, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. That's 4. Now on this last one, I want you to try it with your eyes closed. Since you're not moving your feet, you know where your body's going. So just give it a try and see what you notice. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Now you can float the eyes open or you can keep them closed. I find that closing my eyes during certain sequences can be a really nice practice for, first of all, proving to myself that I know where my body is in space. I don't always need to rely on my eyesight, but also because when you take away one of your senses, it really heightens what comes in and what you notice about everything else that you can take in through your other senses. And so there's a lot of sensation in the joints and muscles. You start to notice the things you hear. You start to notice the feelings of the air over your skin, maybe the smells in the room. And so there's a lot of information that you can take in that's not just something that you can see. And so that's worth thinking about, worth noticing, worth bringing into your practice. All right, we're going to take it through 3 full sun salutations, nice and easy with the breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back to plank, lower to the earth, reverse, push up, chest touches, belly touches, tops of the feet touch. Inhale, cobra, gaze is forward, neck is long. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. And at the end of that exhale, walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Again, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back to plank, take it through a flow, lowering on the exhale. Back bend on the inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 long, slow breaths. At the end of that exhale, walk, step, or float your feet top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center, right back where we started. One more time from the top. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Take it through a flow. Two breaths in downward facing dog. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. And at the end of that exhale, walk, step, or float your feet top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. Let's just practice finding stillness as we stand. Roll the shoulders down and back. Flip the palms forward so that the palms are facing forward, thumbs out. Broadens the space across your shoulders. Maybe your eyes are closed, maybe they're open, maybe they're fixating on something. Or maybe this is another opportunity for you to take in some different information other than what you can see. All right, we're going to take it through a couple sun salutation B. So step your feet together so toes, heels touch. It starts with chair pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Body weight is in the heels. Settle your hips down and back. Gaze is forward, neck is long. Arms are up overhead. Really active in the upper back. Can you bring your biceps even further back by the ears? Take another inhale. And on the exhale, fold over the legs. Nice. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow, or you can skip it. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Now lift the right leg, inhale, lead with the heel. Exhale, step the right foot through next to the right thumb. Now first, before your hands leave the earth, spin the back heel down and create a little space from right to left between your feet so they're not on a tight rope. Now inhale, bring the arms overhead, coming into warrior one. The elbows are straight, the palms are facing each other. The front knee is bent so it's directly over the front ankle, and the back leg is straight and the back heel is on the ground. So this is different from crescent lunge where the back heel is lifted. There's a little bit more inner thigh here in warrior one. Fight to draw that left hip forward though, so there's still some hip flexor stretch here. If your eyes are open, your gaze is forward. By the way, you can do sun salutation B with your eyes closed because there's not a whole lot of balance to this. And so maybe after doing it once on the right side, you might close your eyes for the left side and see how that changes things. Take one more inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Spin the back heel down. So the back heel makes contact with the earth. Inhale, arms overhead, warrior one. Check in with your legs. Your right leg, your right knee is straight. Draw that right hip point forward so that you could almost have them square with the front of the mat. Another way of saying it would be to pull the left hip point back. It has the same result. Elbows are straight, palms facing each other. Now soften the shoulders down and away from the ears. So take that tension out of the traps. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, hands to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. We're going to close this out the way we started in chair pose. So glance up at the hands, walk, step, or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on the inhale, bend the knees, settle the hips down and back. Body weight is in the heels. Find that lift with the biceps toward the ears. So you're not reaching your fingertips toward the horizon. Try to reach the fingertips toward the upper corner of the room. Take one more inhale, really fight for it in the upper back. Exhale, hands to heart center, come up to standing. Nice job. Okay, so we're going to take it all the way through that sun salutation B, the whole right side, the whole left side again, exactly as you just did. But this time we're going to connect breath to movement, so it's going to move a little bit faster. But like I said, you could try this one with your eyes closed. But if you're doing this at home and you're near anything that you could fall over on or you could hurt yourself, please be smart. Consider yourself warned. All right, chair pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Spin the back heel down. Feel your way into this. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through. Spin the back heel down. Find your balance. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Optional flow, or you can skip it. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. And at the end of that second exhale, walk or step or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on the inhale. Exhale, come on up to standing, hands to heart center. Nice job. So if you did that with your eyes closed, I hope that was a new and different experience for you. I hope it wasn't too scary. Now we're going to do the same flow, but this time we're going to add a couple more movements to it, which, by the way, you could still do with your eyes closed. And so if you're enjoying this little theme of stepping into movements literally blindly, then you could continue to close your eyes for the next flow series, which is also based on Sun Salutation B. Here we go. Chair pose on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Two breaths. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb, feel your way into it, spin the back heel down, find your balance, bring it up to warrior one. Okay, now we're gonna play with a little bit of proprioception. So that's knowing where your body is in space, which is kind of a profound thing if you think about it. How do you know that your limbs are where they are? So what we're gonna do is on the exhale, you're gonna bend forward and hug your right thigh with both arms. So take an inhale. And on the exhale, round the arms around the right thigh, keeping the knee bent. Inhale, return to warrior one. Back up to standing, arms overhead. We're gonna do this 2 more times. Exhale, upper body down and hug on that right thigh, sweep the arms around it. Inhale, warrior one. Still nice and grounded in that back heel. Exhale, hinge forward and down over that right thigh. Still keep that front knee bent over the front ankle. Feel where it is in space. Inhale, warrior one. Nice job. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. Okay, same thing on the left side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through. Spin the back heel down, find your stance. Move slowly and mindfully into warrior one. Pause here for a couple breaths in warrior one. Feel your balance, feel that front foot, back foot. Ground into the earth with the pinky toes of both feet. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge forward, wrap the arms around that left thigh. Inhale, back up to warrior one. Move at the pace of your breath. Exhale, same thing, round the arms around that front leg. Inhale, back up to warrior one. Last time, exhale, move slow. Inhale, warrior one. And exhale, hands to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. And at the end of the next exhale, walk, step, or float your feet top of the mat, forward fold. Chair pose on the inhale. Come on up to standing, hands to heart center on the exhale. Nice job. Release your hands down by your sides. All right, and open your eyes if you haven't already. We're going to take a couple little balancing sequences. Nothing too sweaty. We probably got all the sweat out of the way for the first part of our practice. And so I don't recommend that you balance with your eyes closed. Shift all of your body weight to your left leg. Bring that right knee up in line with the hip. Just pause for a moment here. Check in with that standing leg. Nice and strong through the ankle, straight through the knee. Lift up on the quadricep. And if you're feeling pretty good about your balance, just reach down and wrap both of your hands around that right knee and just get a little glute stretch here. Keep the hips level with the earth there. And so it might be tempting to hitch up on that right hip, so ground down toward the earth with that right hip. Nice. And now we're going to reverse this same concept here by releasing the knee and bring that right leg around behind your booty. So bend the foot and see if you can grab hold of that right foot. We're not going into dancer pose today, but it's just a standing stretch for the right quadricep here, also the right hip flexor. So if you're feeling pretty good about your balance, then maybe think about checking in with your tailbone, tucking under with the tailbone, pulls that stretch into the hip flexor, the quadricep. Just as a reminder, it helps if you look at one point that's on the floor, something that's not moving. Balance is one of those things that the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And so don't be frustrated with yourself if you're just like falling out of it all the time right now, because you're getting better at it right now. Okay, now with control, don't just slingshot your foot back down to the earth, but with control, release the foot and just bring it right back down to standing casually. All right, same little sequence on the other side. Shift all of your body weight to your right leg and pick the left knee up in line with the hip. And just check in for a moment. Ground into the earth with all 5 toes, strong through the ankle, straight through the knee, level with the hips. And then let's take that little stretch for the glutes here, hug the left knee to the chest while not hiking up on the left hip. Remember to breathe. All right, now with control, nice and slow, release that knee and reach around back behind you. See if you can grab hold of that foot. And pull that stretch into the left quadricep, left hip flexor. It's a nice stretch for that muscle, but it's also nice balancing practice. So, you know, you could do this stretch on the floor without it being a balancing pose, but sometimes it's fun to combine a stretch in a particular muscle with the challenge of balancing. Okay, just like on the other side, without slingshotting it, release that back foot and set it back down with control. Nice. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow, or you can skip it. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. All right, inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. All right, keep the back heel lifted. Have the hands on either side of that front foot. And you've got options here. You could either lower the back knee to the earth, and we're going from a lunge to a half split here, so forward, backward. So you could do this with the knee down. Or if you want to make it a little bit more intense for the front hamstring and also a little bit more of strength movement for the back leg, you can keep the back knee lifted. So the front knee is over the front ankle. Either way, take an inhale. And on the exhale, roll that right leg towards straight. So for those of you who both legs are straight, oh nice, Dusty's doing the other option. For those of you who both legs are straight, your back heel probably isn't going to be all the way on the earth. So it's kind of like a floating pyramid. Inhale, bring that front knee back forward over the front ankle. Exhale, roll that right leg towards straight. Take it through 3 or 4 full rounds of breath. Use your hands on either side of that front foot to support yourself through the movement. All right, now on the next inhale with the front knee bent over the front ankle, just step it right back to downward facing dog. And take it through a couple long, slow breaths in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Other side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. All right, same thing. So if you lowered the back knee on the other side, do the same thing on this side. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll that left leg towards straight. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale. And take it away on your own time, on your own pace. And since we're here for a few breaths, if you find after a few little rotations of this that it's super comfortable and you want to move a little bit deeper into it, you could try experimenting with heel toeing your foot even further. If you're working on splits, frankly, quarantine's a great time to work on your splits. And this is a really great sequence pairing of stretches to get you there. Lengthen those muscles. All right, on the next inhale with the knee over the ankle, step it right back to downward facing dog. All right, go ahead and lower the knees to the earth, bring the big toes to touch, settle it back to child's pose. And for those of you who want to try a little child's pose variation, this actually has a name, so I guess it's not really a child's pose variation. It's called puppy dog. And so the idea is that you're doing downward facing dog with the upper body, but the knees are down. And so if you walk your knees till they're underneath your hips, and you're creating the downward facing dog shape from your tailbone to your hands, but the knees are down. So this is a great option if your legs are tired in downward facing dog. And so if you want to modify downward facing dog with the knees down, also it takes some of the body weight off of your hands and places it back on the knees. And so if your wrists get tired in downward facing dog, then puppy dog would be a good option as well. And create a nice stretch for the upper back. Okay, so from puppy dog, go ahead and walk back to tabletop. So bring the hands underneath the shoulders here, and we're gonna take a twist for the upper back. So pick up the right arm, inhale, reach the right fingertips up toward the sky, and on the exhale, sweep the right arm under and through towards your neighbor to the left. And then maybe walk the left hand forward toward the front of the mat. And so the idea here is that you are using the mat, you're using the floor to kind of help support you and maybe even crank you into the twist. And so if you have ever had issues with an injury in the mid to upper back, or if you've had a rib out recently or anything like that, then go easy on this one because you're using an external prop, if you will, and that is the floor, to get you into the twist. Keep breathing. I know it's not easy to breathe in a twist, so just do what you can. Okay, now let's slowly come on out of it the way we came into it, just by pressing back into tabletop, and just take it through a couple rounds of cat-cow here. Forward, backward flexion of the spine. Nice deep breaths into the belly. All right, same thing on the other side. Inhale, reach the left fingertips up. Exhale, reach it under and through towards your neighbor to the right. Or if you don't have a neighbor, then toward the wall to your right. And then maybe try walking walking that right hand forward toward the top of the mat. check in with your neck. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're not doing something cranky or crazy with your neck. It's amazing how sometimes when we get in these poses that can be uncomfortable or it can be kind of topsy-turvy, all of a sudden we can do just something really gnarly with another part of our body that's excessive and unnecessary and uncomfortable. So take the opportunity to check in, make sure you're loose and relaxed in the joints that you don't need right now. All right, and let's slowly press back up out of it. Take it through a couple rounds of cat-cow on your own time. And if you want to take any little organic movements like we did at the beginning of our practice, that little oval shaped cat-cow feels really nice right now. All right, bring the legs around in front of you. And let's finish this out with one more hamstring stretch since we focused pretty well on our hamstrings today. Lots of neutrals. And so have the right leg straight, left leg bent. Inhale, arms overhead, square the shoulders over the right leg. And on the exhale, hinge forward and down over that right leg. Reach for the foot, the toe, the ankle, the pant leg, whatever you can reach. And find length from your tailbone through the crown of your head. So it's not necessarily about just burying your face on your leg. It's more about finding that length from the tailbone down the length of the spine. And because, go ahead and come on out of it, because I have made a little agreement with myself that every time I do that hamstring stretch, I'm also going to turn it into a side stretch because I don't like the side stretch. And so it's like eating my broccoli and my side dishes, right? You know, you eat the steamed carrots and the broccoli at the same time, and it's like, okay, we can do both of those together. So go ahead and square your shoulders over the left leg, plant the right hand alongside the inside of that right leg and reach up toward the sky like a ballerina, and maybe up and over towards your foot, but still keep your gaze up toward the sky. So don't close your left shoulder down. You want to be shining your sternum off to the side, not toward the floor. You should feel a nice long side stretch down your left side waist. And slowly release. Switch legs. Left leg is straight, right is bent. So we start with the hamstring. Square the shoulders over the left leg. Inhale to reach. Exhale, fold forward and down over that left leg. All right, slowly come on back to seated, and we're going to take that same side stretch. So square your shoulders over that right leg, plant the left arm, and reach up and over. Keep your gaze up. Remember to breathe. slowly come on back out of it. Whew. All right. Relax both legs straight. And let's slowly bring ourselves back down to the earth into a final resting pose. Find a shavasana that is comfortable for you today. Close your eyes and allow your breath to just flow through your body naturally. Maybe take a moment to intentionally find the most comfortable possible orientation position for your shoulders, your joints, your muscles. I find that for myself, if I can walk my shoulders down away from my ears on the mat and lengthen the neck, then I can get access even more relaxation, even more of a release into the earth. And so find your most comfortable resting pose for today. Shavasana. And slowly begin to reawaken the body. Wiggle the fingers to toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles, deepen the breath. And as you reach the arms overhead toward the back, point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch. And on the exhale, roll over to one side. And then when you're ready, slowly press the earth away. Make your way back up to a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes when you get there. Lightly rest your hands on your knees. Come back to that place of stillness, that role of the observer. I encountered a definition of mindfulness a few weeks back that has stuck with me, in part because of the choice of words. I read this in the book, The Body Keeps the Score. The author talks about mindfulness as being the ability to hover non-judgmentally over our thoughts, emotions, and reactions. To hover. And I like that word. The ability to hover makes me think of this moment. It's kind of that liminal space in between your practice and between the rest of your life. And it feels like you could hover here. It's a timeless moment. And there's so much potential in it because there is stillness here. And so take this ability with you throughout the rest of your week. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Have a beautiful evening. Namaste.